guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, Woody Johnson had some pretty strong comments at the NFL Honors that's currently taking place, and I figured, you know what, let me do a video on him because at the end of the day, Woody Johnson, like, we barely heard anything throughout the course of the season. And, you know, it's not to say that owners, are supposed to be doing weekly meetings or weekly press conferences with the media or anything like that. But with Woody Johnson actually owning the team, and it's his decision to keep everybody in place, Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and whatnot, it's nice to kind of hear some insight on what he's thinking. So the first strong comment was, a direct shot at Zach Wilson, a direct shot at him. Now, whether he meant it as a direct shot or didn't, that's up for us to decide. But he said, we need a backup quarterback. We didn't have one last year. Now, of course, it's obvious, right, that the Jets need a backup quarterback. And the good news, there's plenty of options. Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, Tyrod Taylor, Marcus Mariota, the list goes on, right? It almost kind of feels like there's countless options at backup QB, which is, frankly awesome. And it does finally seem like the Jets front office has, woken up to the fact that we need one. And now they're going to pay the money to go get one. I personally wish that it was done a year ago in the offseason. I wish it was done the day after Rodgers got hurt. I wish it was, watching these weeks go by, seeing the losses stack up. It seriously just seemed like Joe Douglas was asleep. He just, no, we're good. We're going to pass on him. We're going to pass on him. We're not going to make calls. We're not going to do this or that. We're fine with Zach. So to see Woody Johnson say this, right? He's clearly disappointed in the overall quarterback production from a year ago. Now, of course, it's not all on Zach. I'm not sitting here saying Zach's a top 10 quarterback or anything like that, but he probably would have looked better if we had a competent offensive line. He probably would have done a little bit better if Nathaniel Hackett wasn't the team's offensive coordinator. I want to fill this position immediately. I'm talking about in the first couple of days of free agency. I know that's not the norm for backup quarterbacks to typically sign, but if I'm the Jets and we're looking at Rodgers, who's 40, coming off the Achilles, we're going to be playing on the same turf at MetLife Stadium, we have to secure a veteran backup quarterback. Now, in regards to Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, man, here are some of the comments that Woody had. In the discussions we've had the last couple of months, they've seen me about as mad as I can be. I'm not a playoff mandate type of guy, but we have to do a lot better than 7 games. This is it. We have to produce this year. So despite these comments being strong, being bold, really putting Saleh and Douglas on notice publicly here, I gotta say, I actually don't mind the comments. Why? Because I, as a fan, was frustrated almost every single Sunday. When I think back to, just kind of my feelings on 2023 and just putting myself back in my own shoes, in November and December and whatnot, that mini losing streak, right, where we didn't win a game in an entire month. I mean, it's just embarrassing stuff. We have younger teams out there, like the Colts, like the Texans, lapping the Jets, right? Younger coaches, younger players, teams with less talent than us seem to be in a better position moving forward. How is that possible, right? So when I think about how frustrated, how disappointed I was in not only just the team's performance, but how the operation was being ran, I like to see the owner of the football team here kind of voice the same frustrations. Now, of course, you can say, well, why wasn't Woody more vocal, more active during the actual season, which is a completely fair point. But, I got to be honest, if Woody commented on Douglas and Saleh and said, oh, yeah, those guys are fine, it's going to take a couple more years to build this thing, I would have gone ballistic. Right, Douglas has been here since 2019. Draft class after draft class after draft class, free agent signing after free agent signing after free agent signing. Saleh's going into year 4 as head coach of the New York Jets, and we have not reached 500. We have not been an average football team. How is that even possible? So again, I don't mind. Personally, I am a playoff mandate. The way I'm looking at Douglas and Saleh, there is a playoff mandate. If the Jets win eight games next season, 9 games, we miss the playoffs, I'm cleaning house. Right? I was talking to my buddy 2 days ago, who's a big Jet fan. He's like, bro, I got to be honest. because he's obsessed with Mike Vrabel too. He's like, if the Jets start out 1-4, I'm cleaning house then, right? I'm moving on, and I'm trying to figure out something, get Vrabel, get a solid plan in place. I'm cleaning house, even if the season doesn't start well and Rodgers is out there. So I think the frustration, every Jet fan I talk to, we're all frustrated, right? And at least the owner, from these comments at least, kind of mirrors the same feelings. So the pressure's real. I want the pressure to be on. It should not take this long to get to quote unquote average football. It shouldn't. Right? When you're constantly being rewarded for being bad. I mean, think about this. Joe Douglas has had 7 first-round picks. 7 first-round picks. What other GM can say that they've had 7 first-round picks over, 4 or 5 seasons? I mean, let's quickly go through them. Mekhi Becton, Zach Wilson, AVT, Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Will McDonald. That's 7 first-rounders. That's not including the second-rounders and the third-rounders, all those mid-round picks that the Jets have selected. We should be in a better situation than where we're currently at, right? So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.